background.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, guys. So I'm Kaylee. I write for themamadiaries.com. It is so great to meet you both, Devin and Logan, today. I've seen a few episodes, and Sonic's so fun. I mean, who doesn't love Sonic, right?
Yeah.
So, Devin, I'd love to start with you. You are Sonic, and Sonic is so huge. So I'd love to know what it's like for you to be part of such an iconic franchise.
Wow. It's it's very, very surreal and even kind of scary because I grew up as well the shyest kid in school. So Sonic was a character that I very much sort of looked to for inspiration. He had that confidence. He kind of had that swagger. No matter what happened, he's like, "Okay, guys, we're gonna figure this out. It's gonna be great. Don't worry." And so to be taking on a character who inspired me so much is just a really surreal kind of experience, and something that I think a lot of kids will enjoy in the same way that I did growing up. But
Absolutely
people of all
right.
ages can connect with the character
Oh
for sure,
yeah.
and
I mean,
it's
even
really made to
adults,
appeal to
Sonic
everyone.
Sonic goes way back.
Exactly, exactly,
You
exactly.
know. So, Logan, what was like the whole inspiration behind creating this series?
Yeah, we wanted to take a real swing with this series, and we love the property and the franchise as a whole, and they've done so many innovative and unique things over the years that we really wanted to honor that legacy, and make our mark and create a new chapter that honors the property as a whole, but the mythology and the legacy that was already in place, and then take it into crazy, wild, new, and unexpected territories. And we really just wanted to do something different and make a statement with this, and connect that whole audience, like Devin was talking about. There's stuff in here for legacy fans. There's all kinds of Easter eggs. We worked very closely with Sega to make sure that there was authenticity with the aspects that are from the mythology. There's crazy, wild, insane action sequences, high drama, conflict, emotional crises. So there's a little bit of something in there for everybody, and that was really the goal was to honor the deep history that Sonic has, and to stretch his character and take him to places that people have never seen before.
Okay, Devin, so you've done a lot of voice acting. What are some of the challenges that you face? I mean, were you able to interact with the cast at all, or were you all by yourself in the recording booth?
So in the past, a lot of recording sessions were done ensemble with all of the actors together in a room. But in recent years, people have been really careful about health and safety, so we've been having actors record separately, which is kind of its own unique challenge. You're very much reliant upon the voice director to tell you, okay, here's what the other actor is going to do or has already done, depending on whether they've recorded or not. So that is its own unique challenge, but it also allows for just kind of more focus on your own individual performance. You kind of have more time to feel things out on your own. And in a unique instance, there are actually a couple episodes that I got to do with Shadow's voice actor, Ian Hanlon, who's very, very talented. He was recording in studio, but I was recording in my home setup here. So we were linked up over the internet. We were able to directly play off of each other, and really, really got to have a lot of fun with Sonic and Shadow's dynamic. That was a really cool experience.
That's
So
really
there's
great.
a little bit of both on this show.
Yeah, well, that's nice. I would think it would be easier if you're actually able to record with someone than kind of like talking to yourself. I don't know.
But you get used to it for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. You guys are great. I mean, Logan, so speaking of the voice actors, you have like so many good ones. So what was the casting process like?
Yeah, it's a huge ensemble cast, and obviously, there are existing versions of these characters that fans are attached to. So it's really important that we cast authentically, and that we're not completely, you know, breaking type with the character, or coming in with a new voice that seems awkward. But at the same time, we wanted to create something fresh and original, and put our own spin on it. And honestly, Devin is the shining example of that. Like, he came in and he'd clearly done his research. He knew all the other voice actors. He knew the voices, and he knew the DNA of what like it takes to make it sound like Sonic, to exude that confidence, but give him that slice of vulnerability at the same time, which is so hard to do with a character that's brimming with such confidence. And the storyline does take him through a wild ride of highs and lows. So getting that serious, dramatic, highly emotional, at times like sad, and he's on his journey by himself, and at times it's lonely for him, and at other times it's got to be tough, and he's leading his army into battle in many cases. So there was so much to explore for in terms of range for the performance, and Deven just stepped up to the plate and knocked it out in every instance. And it was something we used to ask ourselves, on the writing side, is like, what would Deven do in this series? Like, we would think about Deven's performance and start writing for him because he brought so much to the table. But yeah, casting for such a large ensemble, it was important that we had that authenticity, but we had something fresh and new at the same time. It was really important to satisfy both of those two things.
And I honestly, I got to give a lot of love to our voice director, James Corrigal, as well, because he's kind of tasked with tying this all together. When we've got everybody recording individually, James makes sure it sounds like everybody is in the same room talking to each other. And of course, the engineers as well, who make it all work, because I am literally recording in a different room from everybody else.
Great. Oh my, yeah. So Deven, did you have the opportunity to do any sort of like improv with your character?
There's definitely some occasional moments that kind of made their way in where I'm like, you know what? I feel like he might say this instead, or maybe I'll try to sneak this little kind of subtle reference in here. So there's definitely, I've been given a whole lot of room to play, and it's been sort of fun watching seeing the final product and be like, that made it in there, all right. But again, I'm given so much great material to work with that it's not even something that, like, I don't even need my contributions to make it in, but I'm more than happy when they do.
Logan, so the animation is really, really beautiful. I love like all the vibrant colors and everything. Can you just talk about like creating those worlds and like the different dimensions?
Yeah, absolutely. We had the beautiful, lush Green Hill environment as our kind of anchor place in the beginning of the story. And we certainly wanted to, pay service to the existing versions of Green Hill and create that lush, beautiful environment that Sonic is searching for the entire time on his journey. He's trying to get back to that place. So it was important that, we honor the design of those characters, and they're very faithful in terms of their design to the actual game models. But we brought a new texturing process so that we could create something that felt cartoony and honored the design, but we could create these, high concept, lush environments that at times were either like beautiful and then overly beautiful and intimidating and scary, or like in the case of New York City, which is the world that's made in Eggman's image, is very intimidating, the opposite of Green Hill entirely. So we created this surfacing style that we applied to the characters in the worlds to integrate those two things in a holistic way. And then with lighting and compositing, we're able to create a variety of mood and tone and atmosphere and really give it a cinematic quality that helps push the elevated narrative in terms of the story that we're trying to tell. We needed the visuals to be on par with that kind of storytelling. And then on the animation style at the same time, like, again, it's an emotional performance. His expression was really important, needed to convey those emotions accurately, and be able to service the variety of acting. Plus there's the action and there's the character comedy. So at times he needs to feel serious, and at other times more cartoony. So there is a lot of squash and stretch, and our animation directors spent a ton of time, deving out the animation style and putting the research in and figuring out what is the exact right amount of squash and stretch for this. We don't want it to feel overly cartoony because it's got to get serious at times. So just finding the perfect balance of all those elements, and yeah, just amazing to be able to explore so many aspects in one show. It really did, provide a little bit of everything for, our whole team and hopefully the audience to sink into.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, just, yeah. Deven, what, is there any sort of, message that you're hoping for families to take away when watching this? I mean, like, if this is going to appeal to everyone from kids to adults, just because of Sonic, it's Sonic,
Yeah, again, it's really great that this is being presented in a way where if you're somebody who grew up with the character, you'll notice all these little nods to the past, because again, it does fit in with the previous canon. This is canon to the games and the characters we know and love. That's all there. But if you're somebody who is being introduced to Sonic and this world of characters for the first time, you will also just be able to jump right in and uh, easily be able to understand everything that's going on. So yeah, it's very much something anybody can enjoy. And there's again what Sonic has that meant so much to me is just that consistent yearning for doing the right thing and to really be the best friend that he can. And he's challenged. He does a lot of introspection throughout this, as a result of just learning the consequences of his actions in certain cases. So there's a lot to be learned as far as self-reflection goes, which is good for any hero to be able to do.
Well, thank you both so much for your time today. It was great to speak with you both. And yeah, I wish you guys luck with this. This is so great. I love the show.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.